director of the project. I'd like to introduce Tony Recek.
You're a British Chamber here. It's Polish all the time. So it must be used for similar occasions in the not too distant past. Sure, very good.
How were the meetings this morning?
There I go. Ladies and gentlemen, can I first of all thank the Chamber and HSBC for doing me the honour of inviting me to take part in this opening ceremony and to have a look at the British Business Centre. I'm very glad to be here. The occasion fits extremely well with the purpose of my short sort of intergovernmental political visit to Warsaw, which is all to do with the promotion of trade and investment. I have a history in finance and trade and industry in previous British governments. In this government I'm the elder statesman doing a variety of things, and one of the things David Cameron's particularly asked me to do is help promote the growth of trade and investment and pursue the objective of trade agreements within the European Union and in the wider world. That's our particular emphasis. We're not alone in European countries in our desire to see a return to growth, that we need job creation. We're working on economic recovery. We've not only got to recover from the crisis, we've got to make ourselves competitive in the future, in the world we're going to face once we're out of the immediate problems and we want to be leading economic powers in a world that's changing very rapidly. So the Poles we look to as natural allies in all this transformed their own economy in the last few years. Very much naturally a trading, open country. We should be a powerful influence in Europe and elsewhere if we act together. I've been discussing the prospects for the EU, United States trade agreement, from which both Poland and the United Kingdom have a great deal to gain in terms of growth and jobs if we can get rid of barriers and obstacles to trade across the Atlantic. I've been discussing with ministers the completion of the European single market. We derive huge benefits from the single market and the European Union, but they're not as great as they should be, because 50 years after the foundation of the European Union, we have not actually completed the single market in services. So there are barriers internally in Europe that need to be removed. And I'm glad to say I was not surprised, but I was reassured to discover a natural rapport between the views of my government and my own views and those of the Polish ministers that I met, the three I met, only one of whom I knew well from before. We do fit extremely naturally in our vision of how countries like ours should thrive in the modern world, and our openness to the whole question of trade and investment between ourselves and in the rest of the wider world. So what I was emphasizing to the other ministers was our eagerness to get around to agreement, not only in the broad principle, but the specific detail, once you get down to trying to get things moving on the transatlantic and the internal European single market front. So it was a very, very worthwhile morning for me. But within that, Poland itself is an extremely important economic partner for the United Kingdom. And we wish to give priority to trade, exports and investment in both directions. We welcome inward investment from Poland with just the same enthusiasm as we seek to promote British investment here. Our own domestic problems contained in areas like energy policy we've touched on this morning have striking similarities between us. We both have high expectations of moving to shale gas. We're both contemplating moving into nuclear power generation because we both need to invest heavily in our energy infrastructure and in the rest of our infrastructure in both countries. So I am one of those who believes it is to the mutual benefit of both countries if we deepen our trading and economic relationships, and if we make the best use of our political alliances in the wider world and in Europe as well. So within that we have this facility. Now, I have heard all about it. My sole knowledge of it is I've walked a few yards inside the door and I'm now in a bare room and I'm about to see the rest of the facilities. I've heard descriptions of a digital facility which I have yet to see and do not yet fully comprehend, but which the ambassador assures me is going to be of huge importance to British companies trying to develop here and those who wish to make links with British companies if they're Polish businesses as well. And I therefore am delighted to wish it every success. I'm about to open it. I can see a thing on the wall which gives the impression that I'm about to unveil some sort of a plaque. I have done this before. This is about the limit of my technological ability. Cutting tapes or unveiling plaques. I have not yet had a plaque fall completely off the wall in the process of my tugging away and unveiling it. I've sometimes been a little uncertain about where exactly it's going to be hung once I have left. But nevertheless, it is a symbolic moment in which I'm delighted to participate. I'll go back and find out how this curtain moves off whatever is behind it. And in the process, I'm delighted to be able to say I should be declaring this British Business Centre in Warsaw open for business.